Guys, the mid-season trailer to the fourth and final season of Star Wars Rebels dropped about 2 weeks ago, and boy, were we excited. It left us in sweet, sweet anticipation of everything that Dave Filoni and the staff at Lucasfilm have in store for the Ghost Crew. So after sitting on the trailer for some time, we've come up with some ideas of what could happen in the last few episodes of Star Wars Rebels. Keep in mind that everything that we're about to talk about is pure speculation based solely on what we've been shown in the trailer. And let's be honest, we're meant to think this way. So your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. So without further ado, let's do it. We know the official synopsis of the first episode, Jedi Knight, reveals that the rebels are infiltrating the Imperial headquarters on Lothal to rescue one of their own in a super secret Black Ops type mission.
The reason as to why they even bothered to word that so vaguely just completely eludes me. I mean, it's Hera. Like why? If we don't know that that's Hera, then why are you watching this? Like, why do you care to begin with? Go watch Rebels. What's wrong with you?
I used to believe those scenes with Kanan and him super murderizing those stormtroopers were meant to make us believe that he was turning down a dark path, but I actually think that these are a little misleading. I mean, Kanan has an entire arc in Season 3 dedicated to him learning about the Force and the balance within it, so I find it so hard to believe that he would stray from that path so suddenly. I think that Kanan is no longer on a particular path and just following the will of the Force. Balance means both light and dark working together.
Doom is titled a little less ambiguously than the previous episode, and it suggests that we'll be seeing a lot of Kanan Jarrus, aka Caleb Doom. The synopsis reveals that the Ghost Crew will be reeling from a devastating loss and trying to find a new sense of purpose and resolve. So far, Star Wars Rebels has managed to avoid any main character deaths, and judging by the fact that we know that we've seen Hera, Chopper, the Ghost itself, and most likely Rex on Endor during or after the Battle of Endor, we can assume that they're going to be safe. But if this shot is anything to go off, Zeb appears to be rallying the troops while both Kanan and Ezra are nowhere to be seen. A closer look reveals a stormtrooper armor-wearing Rex, a rescued and more familiarly dressed Hera, and a presumably captured Governor Pryce. I'm left to wonder if they think Kanan and Ezra are dead, and in some ways, it's entirely possible that at least one of them is. From a certain point of view.
A certain point of view? Well, actually, yeah. I feel like if Kanan were to die, it would be a figurative versus a literal death anyway. Kanan could be shedding his identity as Kanan Jarrus, and that could be it. Just discarding the veil that he used to hide behind for so many years and just re-becoming Caleb Doom.
If you're looking to make some easy money, just go ahead and place a bet on the chances that we'll be seeing that single and likely most consequential shot of the entire trailer here in Wolves in a Door, and I'm talking, of course, about this one. As you can see, we have Ezra in full Scout Trooper attire standing in front of a mural of the Force Wielders of Mortis. Perched on the daughter's shoulder is the convoy we often see associated with her, and in the background we see a couple mountain-esque shapes that resemble the Jedi Temple on Lothal that we also see earlier in the trailer.
Wait a minute. Why would Ezra still be wearing the Imperial disguise that he wore during the Imperial infiltration 2 episodes prior to that?
Exactly. Makes you think, doesn't it? The title Wolves in a Door may hint at the possible role of wolves serving as guides to get to that door, much like wolves serve as spirit guides in our own world. But where does the door go? Who is this blue-eyed wolf? And if we're to believe that they are guiding Ezra, then who are they biting?
A World Between Worlds is the next episode that's on this list, and it's probably the one that intrigues me the most. What is this place? What does this writing mean? And how can Ezra survive without an atmosphere? All good questions. Well, one theory I have about this astral realm that Ezra is walking in is that it was actually the physical pathway into Mortis that people used to take before the Father closed it off 2,000 years prior.
As Ezra walks deeper into this world, he comes across a convoy bearing the colors of the daughter from Mortis, and his reaction to it suggests that he recognizes it from the times he's seen it near Ahsoka, and that is far too exciting all on its own.
The convoy responds to Ezra's statement by saying who, which if I'm being honest means nothing to me, but in the spirit of education and knowledge, I will endeavor to get to the bottom of this.
It is possible that this convoy is guiding him through what looks like an admittedly straight path into what we're going to call the Trials of Mortis, much like many people believe it guided Ahsoka through the nether realm of the Force on the Topps trading cards. One of these trials may see Ezra confront the Emperor by similar means to how Sidious and Yoda faced off in the final episode of the Clone Wars. I will, however, point out the fact that I'm not entirely convinced that this blue-robed figure is the same blue-robed figure we see later on in the trailer.
Hi, is this the Department of Wildlife? Okay, yeah, I'd like to speak to somebody who can speak owl. Yeah, I'll hold.
A Fool's Hope makes me think that we're getting back to the Rebel Alliance and its efforts to free Lothal. The title does call to mind the quote from A New Hope by Obi-Wan stating, "Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?" We see this shot of Ezra wearing his normal, obnoxiously colored clothing, standing in front of the aforementioned blue-robed figure stating, quote, "I know what we have to do now. One last lesson." Could he be speaking to a projection of a robed Obi-Wan Kenobi? Or should I say, Roby-Wan Kenobi?
No, you should never say that ever.
Oh. But considering that this is the first part of a 3-part finale, we are going to start to see all of these threads tie together in some sort of cohesive ending. Maybe this Fool's Hope is of them hijacking the Imperial Command Center as a desperate means of escape, considering the fact that the Empire has Lothal pretty much locked down. And if that's the case, then they'll likely be doing this while attempting to evacuate as many innocent civilians from the full-scale bombardment ordered by Grand Admiral Thrawn as they can. Or maybe not.
Boring conversation anyway. Family Reunion is up next, and I'm thinking that this is when Ezra will actually emerge into Mortis after passing the trials of Mortis, or so we call it. And I'm also thinking that this is the first time that we'll see Ahsoka since her departure after the Twilight of the Apprentice episode at the end of Season 2. From here, I'm guessing that the father who became a Force ghost at the end of the Mortis trilogy in the Clone Wars will present himself to Ahsoka because he recognizes her as the girl that his daughter gave her life to save. Now I'm guessing some weird, mysterious force-wielding powers are going to happen, and that Ezra is going to be explained that he, Ahsoka, and Kanan are required to bring balance to the Force, and they need to take the spots of the father, daughter, and son in order to do so.
Yeah, what he said. But this is Star Wars Rebels, and let's keep in mind that there are more families involved here than just the Mortis family. And if we're going to be technical, the Mortis family is kind of a Clone Wars family anyway. The Ghost Crew refers to themselves as a family as well, and the return of one, if not both of the Jedi into the Freya battle would be a welcome sight to behold, should things work out that way. Now, I'm going to go off on a limb here, and, again, I'm not, super into making these intense fan theories that you should get, super attached to and dig really deep into. And I didn't do that to make this theory, but it is something I would love to see, just because I want to see a little resolution to this story. What if the family reunion we see in Family Reunion is actually the family reunion of the Clone Brothers? We do, after all, know that both Gregor and Wolf make their way into these final episodes. We even see this awesome shot of Wolf firing his old DC-15 beside Rex in battle, and mind you, check out that armor on Rex. That looks familiar, doesn't it? Bling! Endor. Apparently hunting Jubas on Sealos wasn't exactly the way a couple retired badasses wanted to live out the rest of their lives. Which, I don't blame them because those things are gross and terrifying. And while we're out on this limb, let's just go ahead and snap it right off. I want to see Thrawn deploy Commander Cody to go ahead and shut down these rebels. You deploy Commander Cody, who at this point in time is probably a general or higher anyway. I don't really know how military ranks work. But you deploy him to shut down the rebels, and as he eventually finds out, his own clone brothers. And then you get to this battle, hopefully with all 4 of them, and then sadly, maybe we lose Wolf and we lose Gregor, and then it's just one-on-one with Cody and Rex, and you get the Battle of Heroes on Mustafar kind of deal, where these two brothers, the brothers in both arms and actual blood, because it's the same blood. Even more so than siblings. But you just have this epic face-off, and it puts a cap on the story of Commander Cody, who, in the current canon, we really have no idea what happens to him. And that is something that I would love to see. Gonna go ahead and say it's probably not gonna happen, but I'd be super interested if it did. The final of these episodes is appropriately titled Finale. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I haven't really given a whole lot of thought to this episode, and that's largely because I don't want to. I want to let them surprise me with this, because I could see a lot of different outcomes happening, and I'm almost completely confident they're going to give me one that I don't expect. And that's the way I like it. I don't want to, try to figure it all out myself, and I think a lot of people have learned that can be a problem. If The Last Jedi has taught anyone anything, it's that there's nothing wrong with having some ideas, but it's not your job to write it, it's not my job to write it, it's just our job to talk about it. And I am more than happy to do that for the rest of time. I hope you guys enjoy the season finale of Rebels, the series finale of Rebels. I know I'm going to, And we'll be giving you updates as the episodes roll out. And I hope you're along for the ride. So that's it, guys. Those are some of our ideas for how Star Wars Rebels can come to an epic finale. You know it has to be epic. If you guys have any ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll check them out. We'll respond to some of the ones we think are interesting. If we see any comments, this is a pretty early video, so we understand that we're probably not going to get a whole lot of feedback on it. But the feedback we have gotten is awesome, and we really appreciate your guys' support. And hopefully we'll be doing this for a long time. We enjoy doing it. It's something that we love. Like, this is all stuff that we've been doing for years to some extent, but now we're really happy to put it into a form that we can share with you guys. So, if you like the video, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter at @satellite_kids. You can also find us on Facebook. The easy handle there would be @SatelliteKidsVids. And we'll see you around. May the Force be with you.